Hello. It's my pleasure to welcome you in the back entrance of TalTech, where our students from Design and Technology Futures are trying to bring in some new culture for a study in university. In our program, we tackle complex challenges. Normally, we do it together with enterprises, companies, healthcare, or social fair. But this time we didn't need to look for outside partners because we realized that we are all in a very rapid change, in a transition. And in a transition where the culture of university is changing its infrastructure, processes, and outcomes. Yes, from one side, these changes are all forced us by pandemic, but at the same time, it accelerated all the moves which already existed, took place, ideas, tools, processes. And these are turned now into new reality, shaking the balance of study and culture in the university. Several issues have emerged to boost these changes as we are pushed into virtuality, so we need to understand the new balance between contact and distant learning. New technologies are offering emerging possibilities for personalization and hybrid studying, blending together our hobbies, our life into a new form of existence. Also, we are all well aware what is happening. We are all participants in these changes, but we don't know yet where these transformations are leading us. We can add here the other emerging goals to reshape the university, to achieve climate neutrality, to master digitalization, and flip to circularity. These are not just goals in technological innovation that can be just executed, but these aims also need an abrupt mind shift to achieve change in people's behavior and thinking in our everyday actions. If we want to make changes, we need to understand where we are going as well as how we would like to live and participate in this future. If we are imagining our smart future, we should not limit our thinking to smart technology, but instead envision situations and solutions that are socially smart. So this is what we try to look into with our students, how the new culture of study would feel. So a pleasure to ask a few words from our rector.
Thank you. Hello, I'm very happy to welcome you on behalf of the rectorate of TalTech. And as Martin said, the university, and not only the university, also our society and the full world is in the process of changes. And of course, key words, but were also mentioned is Green Deal, green transformation, carbon, CO2 neutrality. And of course, TalTech has very big ambitions to become CO2 neutral already by 2035 if Aire has not changed his plans. And in this process, we have asked for advice how the future university would be, and of course, the most proper group of people who we should ask our advice are students, because they have the brightest ideas, at least until they go to real life. And this is what we are witnessing today. We have the opportunity to see how they see the future university, and I can see that rector has some place in future university. Well, we can discuss that if that is needed or not. But yeah, there is a place for rector as well. So I would like to thank Martin and all who have participated in this process. And yeah, well, let's see how the future will be. So I'm very excited, and once again, thank you, and enjoy the event. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we start, I present you the people behind this, our study project, which is called Design Studio. Ruth Helena Melioransky, who has been in charge of this process, helped by Jonel Lehari and a little bit by me.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Martin, for giving the word. And I'm very short, and I just wanted to stress that our role was to give the task to rethink what TalTech today is and what it could be in the future. What are those trends and limitations we are facing? But I also want to remind the context where we did it. We were to analyze the space while we were not allowed to enter the space. So it was a distance experience. And they are the first-year students of ours. It means that they only had the autumn experience, which was partly in the building and partly also on distance or blended learning. So this definitely had a stamp what they were able to do here during this spring term. And we started with it in February, and today is the opening of the results. And of course, the students are the stars of the event today here. And our role was mainly to force them to be really critical of what it is and what it could be, and then to push or help them to be more creative on the go. But the co-supervisor, Jonel, will moderate the event and introduce teams, team by team. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not going to give a speech. My students know I'm a man of a few words. And we are now ready to start with presentation. And we have all 6 presentations. And every presentation is about 5 minutes. After that, you can ask questions and give some good comments. And if you ask questions and give comments, please do it with help of a microphone, because we are broadcasting, and you see a guy in the middle with huge mic. And first team is Sumin. They will introduce the room by yourself, and yeah, stage is yours.
Hi all. Hi, and we're honored to have the Rectorate here with us today as well. Our team consists of myself and Helet and Tiina, and we also had a help from Olga in the beginning of the semester. We are here to present to you our space of typology concept, that is Sumin. It is based on the physical areas of TalTech. And to quickly rewind to the beginning, after the brief by Aivar Utar at the beginning of the semester, we were eager to dig into the root of all the possible whys of how to create the better study culture in TalTech. We looked deep into how students, lecturers, and staff interact in different departments, what are their relationships with each other, and as well as how do they communicate and use their time inside the campus. We had a row of interviews with students and staff from all around the university, and they all said the same. They wish that they would have a better organizational culture that would be supporting their everyday experience. And as the hallways are visibly empty in the after hours, one of the lecturers particularly pointed out that they wish that one day they would be able to just walk out of their cabinet and catch up and communicate with their students and peers. And that's how we ended up in the community topic. And after the research, we came to a conclusion that although learning and focusing are already greatly supported in TalTech, the campus still lacks areas that would support communicating in widening the weak-tie relationships. So how do we combine focusing and learning with socializing and recovering in a balanced way? This is what we need to define in the space and act accordingly. And for the solution, Sumin is a concept that is actually behind us here, mapped out. It's a concept where we mapped areas of the campus where the immediate change to reinforce our community could take place today. The emphasis is on promoting and nourishing collaboration, socializing, and recovering between all stakeholders by welcoming an active, open space that would call to interact. And by creating a space in open areas, Sumin aims to democratize organizational culture through the implementation of wider use of shared areas on daily basis 24/7 by supporting equal communication. And from the very beginning, we had a main aim to give a direct value to the university, meaning that we want to offer the changes that we could apply already tomorrow or over the course of summer. Therefore, we are using the smallest things because all things have to start out from somewhere. And in as big place as TalTech, aiming step by step is a pretty good idea. So just taking this to explain to people perhaps that are viewing from the hybrid space as well. So we created a typology space by mapping the main areas that are the entrance areas. That's the first layer. Then we have the passage areas, the hallways, the entrance, the passage, and the meeting areas. And that then applied to all of the departments in the university. And we started with how would a user like to feel or experience the university when they step in. And as they want to experience it as collective or fluent, that is really important, or cozy and joyful, we looked all of these areas, 3 of them, the entrance, passage areas, and meeting areas, through different interactions, activities, requirements for the spaces, and space to create the space typology. And they all include a set of sets of the sounds or the acoustics that the rooms acquire, then the capabilities that the spaces have. For example, having this big wide open corner in there, and then the activities that you can do there, and then the emotion that a person might have, whether they feel lonely or whether they feel talkative. So considering all of these things, how they can then interact in the community with in the open areas and the spaces. And we ended up, just to show you quickly, a user journey with having a Anna that's walking in from the main entrance then to the university, what she could or would like to experience. And for proposing the smallest things, we have thought of in the entrance areas to have a testing area, for example, where different departments could test and present and promote their projects as soon as you step into the university. For example, currently, yes, it has been a little bit redone, but it doesn't have any interactive elements there. But you could bring it out and exhibit it. And then, of course, we want to have students communicating with the lecturers, as well as in the hallways, have gamification elements. And when we end up here, at the final stop then in this journey, is this same room here. What we did physically as a little start is to create that little area. We painted the walls, put the carpet down, just do a little small things. And what we can, for example, tell straight away from our research is that just 5 people a year use this cloakroom then behind that area. That could be of well use for creating a stage, for example, for us to come together in the after hours and communicate. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Evelin. This was Sumin, Evelin Ebruk, Helet Loodus, Olga Tihhonova, Tiina Aire. And now it's time for questions and comments. Please welcome.
So I understand that there would be collecting events to one reachable area. Would that require a curating position on the TalTech side, or how could that work?
Yes.
Exhibition curator.
Not even. We have thought of following through many co-working areas then and visiting them in Tallinn as well. They are actually run by, and many maker spaces, they're run by community manager, so we are proposing one. It would be good to have a community manager in TalTech as well, to have the set of things to work and deal with.
Do we have more questions?
Oh, as well, as you said, just the collective events in one reachable area, it just applies to then one specific department. We have so many departments, and every department could take the same use, how we are trying to do in here. For example, the SOC building as well. Yeah.
So thank you. And I encourage you to take a closer look after the presentation, because there are plenty of interesting thoughts. And now we are ready to move to the next presentation. It's Digital TalTech, and it's right here.
Test. Hey, I'm glad that you're all here, tuning in from offline and online. I'm happy to present you to our idea, what we came up together with Nikole, Aire, and me, which is called Digital Campus, which is a new path towards the new study culture. Let's get the obvious thing out of the way. Why is this tilt maze here, and how is it even related with our project? It's quite a simple question to answer. This is the systematic problem or situation that we're faced right now. So, from the university point of view, yes, from the official side, you're able to look down here below all of the courses and activities that we have in the university itself. So, all of the different courses and extracurriculums that are at the moment available. But if you take a closer look and put yourself in the shoes of a university student, 10 years of ball, you're just moving 180 degrees and seeing how the different courses and activities are actually inside of the system itself. So it means that even if you have these extra activities and curriculums, and you have a lot of them, you're not able to see everything that the university has to offer. Our novel idea is not solving the whole problem, but we would like to start the conversation, what might feel unnatural and a bit, let's say, difficult, because we're asking a question, how the university's heart looks like, and what are the next steps towards the university, whether it's in online, offline, hybrids, it's based only in Estonia, or actually in different countries. So let's dig a bit deeper into the problem itself. Right now, we interviewed the different TalTech officials and actually students as well, and we got understanding that all of the university students have different needs, wants, wishes. So everyone has a different path that they're going to take. This is a situation what might feel a bit uncomfortable, because at the moment we have a quite strict understanding in Estonia how we have mandatory courses, how many elective courses we have, and how many optional courses we have. This situation should be changed in regard to that. And if we look into the situation, what is happening outside of Estonia, we see different online website platforms such as Coursera and Skillshare. What might be a threat or not depends on the view where you're taking a look at. So they're really good for the university students or for other people who would like to study new courses, because they're flexible, and you can study from anywhere. So the question remains whether university takes them as a threat or something that they can actually integrate into the system itself. Now, stepping into our solution supports onboarding system into the TalTech system itself. So when a student comes into the platform itself, they're able to actually insert all of the skills and needs they would like to get from the university sides. And after that, university has a lot to offer. We have different live shows, we have workshops and seminars that are happening. So if you feel passionate about something, then the university, this platform would actually help to serve the needs. Also, in regard to the elective courses, we know that, let's say, today's youth, as we might say, is looking at the text in a different way. So we would like to actually introduce to you this video concept that every elective course would have an opportunity to insert a video where a student is able to actually understand and see how the lecturer is going to speak, what the student is going to learn in the process, and what it overall feels like. So, at the end, the digital campus idea is not to close the doors after you have graduated. It's an open academy. Basically, you're able to come back anytime you want. You're able to take new courses and activities and see what you actually studied before as well. Not closing down Moodle or OIS, but actually having this way of coming back to the new programs, new open academies, or anything else. I'm happy that you all listened, took the time of attention, and I'm happy to answer all of your questions.
Thank you. Digital TalTech, it's Aire, Aasmäe, Nikole, Bukrejeva, and Janno, Dreger. So, question please. This model reminds me and my career a little bit.
Yes, I will then ask a question for myself because people might, let's say, be too Estonian or be too, let's say, not asking questions. But basically, if you bump into the walls, it's kind of like the same thing in life. So you bump into something, you will feel new experiences, opportunities, and activities that you didn't encounter before. So that's the reason as well that when you're bumping into something, then you're experiencing new things and bumping into the next thing, as it goes with life as well. So the question, are there any questions actually? Because I would really love to answer, but it seems that no.
Are you going to proceed with this topic after the graduating? What do you think?
Yes, we have some official from here who actually is integrating this Eurotech, and which is like a foreign university study platform. Pardon? Consortium, yes. And they were actually happy to invite us for the next workshop that they have. So this is something that we're happy to contribute from our side. But we haven't gotten any. But we're happy to actually collaborate with them. But we have got the information that they would like to consider us. So.
Thank you.
And everyone is welcome to play and think about it and note your thoughts down in the journal that's on the table there. And also there's a little voting system you can...
Yeah, please try out. It might change your destiny.
Who knows, because all of the courses are here, what the TalTech actually provides. So thanks.
Thank you. Ruth, do you want to ask something or add some comment? No? Okay. So now it's time to move on, and the next presentation is Lighthouse. We expect some live action now.
Sorry to be inside. Hello, this is Team Lighthouse. My name is Tihhonova. I'm the rector of TalTech. And welcome to my parking lot. Let me tell you about the research we did here in this building. We went around, asked people, and looked around with our own eyes, and asked them how do they feel networked in this facility. And the people, the staff, the students, they said, we don't really network, but we would like to network a lot more. And there are areas available in TalTech, little kitchen corners, but they're not used. They're not freely accessible. We call this the paradox of communication in TalTech. The areas are available, they're not used, people want to network, they're not networking. So you might wonder, what is the point of networking, especially in a university context? Networking enables creation of weak ties, weak social ties. And these are the ties where most valuable information is spread. That is grants, that is information, innovation, yeah. So that's what it's good for. We have actually a solution that TalTech is going to implement. Let me tell you about it. It's going to consist of 4 tiers of approach. Firstly, we're going to liberate these areas. We're going to make them free. Currently, you can't really enter them, you can't feel freely, but we're going to make them free, open for everyone. Secondly, we have rituals, networking rituals. We're going to support actively from the rectorate these rituals, namely coffee mornings on every floor in TalTech. We will give the money for this. It's not a lot, about 30,000 a year, but everybody gets a bun every other week. And they do this in these open areas, of course. Not only that, but we will do quarterly TalTech mission days. This is an event where I and the rectorate will openly, in a physical live event, tell people about what is the mission and aim of TalTech and why it brings us all here together. And this will create an open communication culture. Right. Thirdly, we are going to rephrase the mission of TalTech. Currently, as we know, it's to become carbon neutral, but what does it mean? For us, members of TalTech, not really anything. We rephrase it to be more tangible and more inviting and more challenging. TalTech is not only going to become carbon neutral, but we are going to be the lead of developing new sustainable technologies that will enable prosperity and growth globally. This is the tangible value that we get. And we have, starting from today, 56 quarters to achieve this. And lastly, the 4th tier, this will be a new open communication culture, which will implement if these first 3 tiers are executed, which we will do. All right, and now you might be wondering, what are we doing in this parking lot of mine with an electric scooter? Well, you don't have to look far. There's a hint. And I will personally make my parking lot into an electric vehicle parking lot starting from today, only for electrical vehicles. And also, this will be available for everyone, not only me. And the point here is that we're creating a new open communication culture, and I want to show less hierarchy in the system. I'm open for talks and questions after this presentation, but you can come to my office whenever you want, and we can discuss the future of TalTech. Thank you, and now I can stop being Tihhonova, and I'm Uku Bützep now.
Thank you. Lighthouse, Regina Tager and Uku Bützep. So, Uku talked about open communication. It would be a really controversial situation when now silence remains. So,
silence can remain. I also have like a hint for what to do in silence, or actually just look into the eyes of people next to you, smile and say hello.
Okay, you have all answers. But anyway, now it's time for questions. Please ask questions. It was quite a brave approach, so...
I'm mostly wondering how your 4 tiers of approach are exactly linked together. because I'm sure there's an underlying idea that connects everything, but it also feels like it's touching different subjects.
40 years.
No, sorry, the 4 tiers of approach that you went through.
4 tiers. Well, firstly, the areas, the rituals, the mission, the culture. The last one is a derivative of the first 3. So that's what happens when you execute these first 3 tiers. The areas, you need areas to network, and they are available. Like the most common networking, I would assume, or I think I know, is that I go to this little kitchen corner where I feel safe to go, right? Nobody's like, I'm not invading anyone's territory. I go there, I have a bun, I meet you, Harm, and I ask, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. From somewhere I heard that you had this really interesting thesis. What was it about? Tell me.
I don't know if it was that interesting, but it was about food intolerances.
Food intolerances, that's cool. Let's talk more about it, like that, okay. That's the area and the ritual as well. We see a ritual element in this, right? And the coffee mornings especially, our research team actually did a prototype coffee morning, which people really liked. A key fact, people met in this event that cost us 30 euros on the same floor that had not met each other during the 1 year that they had been, or more on this floor. All right, and the mission, the mission is important, and we borrowed this mission example from the company TransferWise, now Wise. They do these mission updates quarterly because TalTech is like a multidisciplinary, very autonomous research team facility, and it's difficult to sort of achieve cohesion on an informational level. Like what is the mission of TalTech? Why can I feel proud about having my team in TalTech? And these mission days, they will enable to resync or sort of send an impulse of common understanding and interest. Yeah, this is what WISE does. Every quarter, the CEO steps up, says, this is our mission, here's how we're going to do it. Thank you all.
All right, I'm Vice Director for Entrepreneurship, Sven Illing, and you know, change starts from within. So would you be ready to make a coffee morning in September? And we will also invite you to Innovation Hub at Mectory to do that coffee morning. And you as a startup entrepreneur could have a talk about your experience.
All right, Sven, thank you for the question and the invitation. Of course, we can do it. And the idea behind the concept also is that we need to empower the people that already exist on the floors, that are voluntary and are already doing some events. But we need to give them more leverage, sort of, with our support. Because we have found lots of people on these floors that want to help, want to do something, but you know, we need to give them more power to achieve this.
I really liked your presentation. Maybe you could give an advice to the rector about what to do with to change mindset of professors who thinks that a large corner office is a status symbol.
I think there is no easy answer to this.
I thought so.
But it needs to start with little changes. And we, everybody here, we can be role models, examples of sharing our spaces. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have offices, but we can be open about what is, I don't know, what's in our office, or just, you know, not make an angry face when somebody wants to visit. And also, I think this is written in our project that we should do, for example, happy days or smile and say hello days in TalTech. Every autumn, every spring, 1 week of say hello, look into the eye of the person and smile. It's as easy as that. You can show it on that screen that says stay home when you're sick.
Do we have more questions? Comments?
Good.
Suggestions?
I need to drink water anyways.
Okay. And now we have to proceed with changes, and we have to go to the second floor, I think, because the next team is Havan Student Network, and their presentation will take place on second floor. No, first floor, I think. Ootame veits, jah. Ja ma lihtsalt ütlen, et see on see. So almost everybody is here, so Cätlyn can start. Be brave, and the stage here.
Yes, thank you. So hello from my side. My name is Cätlyn, and together with Francesca and Lisett, who are in the crowd there, we are rethinking the Student Union. So let's start by talking about the pink elephant in the room, which is this jumbo Jenga tower. And this, it's here to represent the current governing system of the university as we see it. So as with the game of Jenga, it has a strict set of rules, and these rules reinforce linearity, so only linear movement. And we also have these green blocks in the ground here. And now you can imagine there being 12,000 of them across this room. These represent the students, and these green blocks don't have a place in this like pink structure currently. So we have identified these communication gaps. It's this sort of missing relationship between the students and the student union, as well as the students and the university. And we've also realized that for a student to become active in this, in like student life, it can be quite a journey. So the student really like has to have like strong interest and strong will to become active. And this like missing relationship, as well as this hassle to becoming active, evidently just leads to students becoming passive. And this doesn't benefit either the students nor the university. When we say passive, then we mean what we realized is that a student can technically spend their whole study period while only interacting with their professors and with their course mates and like no one else. And that's okay. But we do have this beautiful campus here, and there is a reason why this campus exists, why all campuses exist, and there is also a reason why students choose to go to a university that has a campus. So this leads us to our proposal, which is really a design logic for an organizational system that would help students be part of this structure. We call this Haven, the student network, and it is a network that all of TalTech students would be a part of. So all these 12,000 green boxes would be a part of this network. And this becoming part of this network would happen automatically the minute that the student joins the university. And by doing that, we're placing the student inside like the active bubble, and this opens a whole new like interaction space for them. So even if a student like decides like doesn't want to be part of any like student-run organizations, they're still part of this network, and the network would always like be visible and like present for them. Now our aim with this is to first and foremost simplify the process for students to become active and to be more active in student life as well as the decision making, which in turn empowers students. It can really empower students, which is like the stronger together mentality, right? We also want students to have tools for socialization so that students would be able to socialize with other students across campus, not only within their within their curriculum or within their department. And all in all, by connecting students via this network, we call for student belongingness, so increase student belongingness, and that's something that's really important, because if a student feels like they belong somewhere, like they're connected, it means that they care about the institution, and it means that they're much more eager to be part of the development of the university. So how to make this happen in real life? This design logic can, and as we see it, should be applied to both physical and digital places simultaneously to create this cohesive system, because these spaces really complement each other. So for digital spaces, this could, we would propose a platform, which again, the minute the student joins the university, they would have access to this platform. They would have a profile that's automatically generated for them and be open to all the possibilities that the platform has to offer. And for the physical spaces, this could mean open offices, for example, for student-run organizations, but most importantly for the network employees, but also revisioning some of the spaces in the university that are currently unused. So that's some of the classrooms and lecture halls that don't have their serve their full potential right now. But we don't really want to give any proper guidelines as to how this should work. We don't want it to be a strict system, because we see an opportunity here for students to co-create this network. So, and this can be something that's ever evolving to best serve the needs of the students. So we want to provide students the space to be part of the future design processes of the university. So what we're really doing is changing the rules to the game of Jenga. Thank you.
Thank you. It was good. So, please ask some questions. I do not work daily as a moderator on events, so ask some question. Otherwise, I feel like I'm failing now.
The Jenga game is kind of playable, so you can technically.
Can we try it?
Not right now. You can try it later if not
Try it later.
Yeah.
Okay. Like.
Sounds wonderful what you're thinking of, but in TalTech there are several international student organizations that cooperate with different universities. So how would those all integrate together?
Yeah, so with the international students, I mean, there is also a problematic area that we discovered is that the international students are, or the international family, so that's professors and students, are sort of living in this separate world almost, they in this different information space. So we see this network as being something that would connect all students and potentially be in the English language, so that everyone is aware of what is happening. Everyone can be a part of what TalTech is and what it will be, because having international students here is so valuable. Such a huge added value to it. So we see every student, everyone should be included.
Hi, great presentation. I was thinking about the foreign students and how are they living in this, let's say, alternative universe in regard to the information, as you just mentioned. My question is that how are they gaining the information then, even though TalTech mostly translates all of the really important informations to English as well? What did your research actually show?
Yeah, so as with students, the same with like the researchers, the professors that are here from abroad. It's really about who from locals is surrounding them and what they decide to share. Like, yes, they have all the the most important information, like how to find subjects in Moodle and these, but like the whole socialization part and like the whole networking part. We see it only happening within this international students and then locals. It's separate almost.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was Helen, Cätlyn, Tamm, Francesca, Keaveney, and Lisett Mitendorf. And next presentation is Kicksmarter. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
So, go on, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Larissa, and together with Marcus and Ekaterina, we are the team that stands behind Kicksmarter. You might wonder why we built up those doors. So, if you come closer, you can read that behind those doors there might be a very interesting project that is from TalTech students. And the first thing, of course, I will try is I will open the door. But you can see what happens. I can't open it, so I can't get access to what is behind that. And it's really a very frustrating experience. It's not very encouraging. And during our research, we found out that this is not only something that is frustrating for us, but it's something that is frustrating for all students at TalTech. I have the experience at TalTech, for example, that, well, let's say the students from our course, we have different backgrounds. We are coming from different fields of studies. Me, for example, I have a design background, but of course I also have other interests. And one of them is, for example, the development of future food. And some of you know maybe that there's a department where they're experimenting with insect food. And I heard of that as well, but I heard it much too late. And they did some food testing, and you could come there and take part at the testing. And I was really sad when I heard about it, because those are the things that I'm actually really interested in, and I would love to take part at those experiments. And that is exactly the problem. So cool student projects at TalTech, they're happening behind closed doors. And projects that are developing in the departments, they basically just stay in the department. And this is not only a problem that students have that are looking for some new insights. This is also a problem for researchers, because they would definitely benefit from more transparency and a wider source of inspiration and information. So, yeah, we had a mission, and the mission was to support interdisciplinary teamwork and getting connected with other students at TalTech. So that is basically what Kicksmarter does. We are connecting people that wish to work together, and we encourage researchers to get a wider audience, to get a platform to perform and to promote their projects. And the solution that we have for that is Kicksmarter. It's a digital portal that gives you a better overview of what is happening, which projects are happening on TalTech right now. And we want to walk you through this. So let's say, as I said, I'm interested into insect food and into future food. So I can go through the filters and look. And yeah, what a coincidence, we have here a project about insect food and the tasting. So when I open this project, I can get some like information about what is happening there, what they're planning to do, and also I can see what insights do I gain from that. Can I like gain some skills? Do they provide me more information? Can I learn something? And in case they're looking for very specific participants, it is also like written there, like either it is public for everyone or they're looking for very specific people. So in that case, I think I fit into that project and I will click on participate. So now I can select a date and a time. I click on confirm and basically it's done. So now all I need to do is to go to that place, to the specific time that I choose, and yeah, get connected with the people. Yeah, but now let's change the perspective a little bit. So let's say I'm developing, for example, a project, and I need people to take part at interviews. So I will create a project when I go to the main menu and I fill out all the needed information that will be later on listed and visible for all students. And in case my project seems to be very promising and I want to push that more into the business direction afterwards, there's the chance to get connected with Technopool Startup Incubator. So I can click on yes, I want to get in touch with them later, or I'm interested in cooperating with them, or no, I'm not. And because not only guests or students have access to this portal, but also people, for example, from the startup incubator, and then they see then that, yes, okay, we can get in touch with them because they are interested in working together with us. All right. So I uploaded my project, and then it will be visible in the list together with all the other projects. And basically that is the idea behind Kicksmarter. So we want to give students more access to projects. We can't open the doors, but we can try to give you access through another way, through our platform. And we want to ease the interdisciplinary co-work with students or between students and researchers, and we just want to make the campus more explorable in a physical way. And we were thinking about lots of extensions already, how you could make this portal bigger. But the particular idea was to make a change how students are experiencing the campus right now. And we really think that Kicksmarter could be a way to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. And in case you want to try it out, we have a VR code here. It is more or less working. Not everything, but we try to do our best and make it as exciting as possible. So just scan it and try it out, please. Yeah.
Thank you. Kicksmarter. Larissa Maria Perke, Markus Lukk, and Ekaterina Goncharova. Thank you. Do we need door openers or platforms? What do you think?
And are you going to continue with the project after the master, or?
We would love to, actually, yes.
And
if the university is interested, we would definitely do that.
And the app is going to be free, or?
It is going to be free, yes. It is going to be only for students at TalTech, but of course, if we want to extend it, you can also think about connecting us with other students from other universities. I mean, yeah.
And are you going to have any advertisement or something in the app to have money to?
No, we want to, right now we're not planning to do some advertisements. Of course we have to advertise the project itself at university so that students will know about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we don't think about making money with it, no.
Thank you, I love your presentation.
It's frustrating, right?
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
thank you for the presentation. Did you get any feedback from the researchers also for this platform?
Yes, we tried it out a couple of times, and also we built some, like, let's say, fake PR articles, and we were showing it to students, and we heard a lot of times they were asking, like, oh, does it already exist? I didn't know that we can use that, and where can I find it? And they were literally starting to search online on the TalTech website in the news if there is this article somewhere in the link to this app, and of course they couldn't find it, but we took this as a compliment.
I meant researchers or academic members, anyone?
Yes, we did that as well. Like, we were talking, for example, with the project leader from the smart elevator, and there we also discovered this problem that, I mean, we discovered it actually also by ourselves. We didn't know that this exists, and you can see this elevator in the department, and you just pass it, you don't see it. And he was also like saying that, yeah, it would be great to get a bigger audience for that, to get also a wider source of information and data.
Thank you. And now it's time to go on, and the last presentation is The Place.
Hello. Where will I start? Millal ma hakkan rääkima? Kohe. Jube. Okay. Hello, my name is Riina Dektarenko, and that is my presentation, The Place. Like many of today's presentations, this one also is heavily influenced by Marco Še's concept about non-places. The non-place by Marco Šė are not meeting place. A non-place is a place where the individual remains anonymous and lonely. In many characteristics, the TalTech campus is a great example of it. This study discovered the same isolation and loneliness are experienced also in e-learning environments. Researching impact in e-learning environments to the communication and group entities, we found that all technological developments to the e-study or using the digital platforms or VR include different various levels of feeling of separation and isolation. Framing possible viewpoints and asking questions like how to balance the level of isolation experienced it with the actual social interaction in digital environments seemed a big part of the problem space and led to the frame. If loss of humanity in digital and VR learning environments is the problem of social interaction, then the situation can be improved by developing physical spaces that support interaction. The next step was the research what are those physical spaces, what support social interaction, which directed to the ancient radial city plan concept, where the radial arrangements of the streets is intended to highlight the center and as the focal point of the place for meetings and communications. One of the great examples of radial plan use is Brøndby Heavenby, our garden city in Denmark. Design of landscape architect Erik Myging, which mimic the traditional patterns of 18th century Danish villages, where people used to use the water well for social interchange between neighbors. The architect divided the gardens into circular spaces to increase the prosperity of social interaction. And that is represented here, so you can look you can have a later closer look. And next developments included sketching and 3D modeling on additional green gardens with radial plans as meeting and relaxing places for the TalTech campus. Plans mimic the ancient well as a source for meeting and interaction. The first MVP with the radial phase plan for study rooms, for teaching, and the well as source for knowledge in the middle. And that is yeah. In the ideation phase, the turning point was to look at the project from different angle. The understanding the radial place can be source of something, but it can be also the opposite, missing of the source. The non-source could give the value in the same amount. The source can be Wi-Fi area, but it also can be no Wi-Fi area, non-Wi-Fi area. In digital abundance of our time, can the place where people can disconnect from Wi-Fi, the world's fastest internet, 5G, constant Googling, and turn to the main source, to our own mind, and share it with others without digital or telecommunicational interruptions, and can be created by using the technologies, for example, like Faraday cage, with what is possible to limit wireless connectivity to surrounding the room with conductive mesh, which absorbs electromagnetic radiation and makes the areas screen-free. Seems something unexpectedly simple, but creates value in the level where people can connect first to yourself and then with the people with the same need. And final proposal is screen-free meeting area and reflection area for balancing digitalization, cost, isolation, and support face-to-face interaction. Created with the help of technologies like Faraday cage and circular modular furniture. Furniture is rearrangeable for the need for the meeting. And for that is the proposal, and that seemed to be missing in the most advanced options of TalTech universities. And if you have questions, I'm very open to answer. And if you don't have...
Thank you. Thank you for that sentence. Yeah. Riina.
Did you want to ask a question, Janel?
Okay.
No, proceed.
I have a comment actually, because I pitched this idea to one of my friends who actually studies ärirahandus in the economical building and described this idea. And they actually commented on it. The guy has a smartphone but no internet, so to get in touch with him, you only need to call with the phone and that's it. But the point was that nowadays when you look inside the TalTech campus as well, and you see that people are constantly scrolling on their phones and just like walking away, and no like meaningful interactions are made. So therefore I would super support your project, and I hope that the officials are also like seeing a potential in it, because this off-grid or offline room is exceptional idea. But I would like to question, is there like a amount of people who would be able to go to that no Wi-Fi room, or it would be rather that you have hundreds of people in there, or rather like just a meeting place for the two people? What was the thought behind that? Thanks.
Okay, so I explain a little bit wider. I send my reports out to people whose opinions are important for me. So, and the feedback was that actually the place, the analogical place, already exists in many various levels. One, for example, is schools, elementary schools, high schools, where there, for example, in Kadriorg, in Kaia school, there are reflection corner where students can go and just relax or have a moment. And the other feedback I got was that what I knew before, but I couldn't during this process put all this together is Helsinki's Kamppakäppeli or Silent Chapel, which is the same thing in a bigger amount, actually. the chapel in the middle of the Helsinki, where are all the keys what we need to be connected. You can go there and reflect, and it's open always. So and it's always full. There are always interests. So that, for me at least, gave certain certainty that those people would be useful. And if we are all those options in digital world, what we have here in this building, why we can't, with also technologies, turn it off and be connected with other without any other thing? Okay. Did I answer?
Thank you. And what a symbolic name for the last presentation, The Place. So I think now it's time to go backstairs, and champagne and coffee is waiting. But before that, I want to add one thought that, yeah, really, we need a wonderful place, but the wonderful place is nothing without people and without open communication. So we definitely need more events when professors and students and outsiders can openly discuss how to reshape TalTech. So this was from my side. Martin, do you want to add something?
I want to add that, first of all, I'm very pleased to have such an audience here and the ones on the other side of the camera. I heard echoes from upstairs that there was ideas about making a serial event of student presentations. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I hope you will consider this as a valuable prototype of such further events. That would be a step into the new culture, into the culture we are actually shaping, which is not shaping us like some viruses.
Thank you all for coming and listening, and so far very small scale, but I hope downstairs this discussing part and networking part will really take place. So let's go downstairs and have this. It's not a coffee morning today, but coffee lunch or something like that. Thank you, and see you next year.